You're listening to Endurance Unlimited, a TrainingPeaks podcast for athletes and coaches, no matter what you're training for. Dial in those workouts with deep insights and cutting-edge science from the most prominent voices in the endurance and hybrid sports world.
Lee, welcome to the Endurance Unlimited podcast.
Thank you, Dirk, for having me.
We need to get you on more. We have a lot of stuff that's been, I guess, released recently within TrainingPeaks, but a lot more stuff being teed up as well. So this is a good time to kind of like let people know what to look for that's new in both the mobile and the web. Fortunately, I had the trip of a lifetime to go over to France and meet with 13 different world tour teams and show them all this stuff. So they've been using this stuff for a while now. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's dig in. Firstly, on the mobile, we have new improvements on the home. Is that right?
Yeah. So, when we think about TrainingPeaks, we're thinking about the world's most complete coaching and training platform. And so athletes going to that mobile experience should have a good sense of where they are in their training. So when it comes to that home experience, we have what we call performance insights.
Yeah.
And forever, TrainingPeaks has had their ATL, their CTL, and their TSB in there. Right. And what we've done is we've modernized that a bit to give you a bit more context around your training readiness within there. So are you overreaching? Are you overloading? Are you maintaining? Are you recovering? And also showing that spark line that gives you that visual indicator of how that progress has been trending as of late.
Yeah.
In combination with that, we are bringing in what we're calling health insights. So coupling those performance insights with your health insights, and your health insights telling you your sleep scores and hours, your resting heart rate, as well as your HRV. And it's cool because when you tap on those, you'll get the trends over time, as well as a 7-day trend and a normal range within there. So you can see if you're above or below that normal range.
Yeah, I love that feature because I think they're highlighted red, green, yellow.
Yep.
And so what's new is that we're kind of showing that range of normalcy, and if you're inside or out of it. So it's so much more powerful to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there's always you as the athlete and you as the coach making those final determinations.
Yeah.
But having those as inputs to help kind of guide that training process.
Yeah. And then I think direct compatibility with Oura Ring is
so we've been working on integration to integrate Oura. So that should be coming out here in about the next month or so. And it's just getting wrapped up and being fully tested. But TrainingPeaks has always been known as that ecosystem of powerful integrations across the industry with a myriad of devices and platforms. And so we're obviously continuing to push that further. And Oura is just one of the latest integrations.
We've had Whoop for a long time.
Yep.
So look for Oura to come out soon. So when we go to the web, we now have this Analyze 360. Why this whole new button?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think that there's two parts to that. One is we're thinking about just the user experience overall, and how do we introduce new functionality without rocking the apple cart of what people are used to.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so you and I have chatted about this for a long time with regard to there's so many more sensors that now feed into the fit file that we haven't been able to take advantage of. So you have your core body temperature, you have your time wear, respiration rate, H drop, NICs, both with regard to hydration. And there's so many more powerful metrics that are coming through, even just from the bike and, your DI2 shifters and,
I know, shifting
your SRAM shifters,
gear ratio.
Gear ratios along with that. And so how do we make sure that we have that experience that, and it's not just cycling, it's also in running, right? Because you have run power now, which we did display in our existing charts, but you also have vertical oscillation and ground contact time and like all of these different metrics that help you understand run efficiency. And so we wanted to make sure that we took a very clear approach with regard to how we can introduce that and make it very configurable and customizable within there. And it's really kind of the launch pad for how we are thinking about evolving all of our analytics within the TrainingPeaks web platform over time.
Yeah. I mean, when you first log in, there's a lot of metrics shown now within Analyze 360, but you can resort. Like the ones you find important, pull to the top, get rid of ones you don't really care about, and then it'll persist. So when you log out, it'll based on the sport activity type. So it could be different between run, bike, or between gravel and road and track and indoor. You could have different metrics showing. along with the new metrics, we have overlay charts as well.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to touch
Yeah.
on, is that not only do we have each channel broken out separately and each metric
Yeah.
separate, you can also create your own custom charts that are similar to what we've always had within TrainingPeaks, where you have heart rate and power and elevation overlaid. Now you can
But
pick
now
whatever,
50 more metrics. So
right, but you can pick which ones you
Exactly.
want, up to I think it's three or four.
yeah, a primary, and then you add 2 more.
Right. Yep.
So you could have multiple overlay graphs at the top.
Yep.
Which is really cool to see. And then highlighting and creating new laps is easier to edit, I found as well.
Yeah, so you can just slide across the chart right within there, and it'll give you a little pop-up that says you want to create a new lap, and
Rename
how do you
it.
want to adjust the time and rename it. And then additionally, what has been really powerful is our data science team starting to invest more AI into the product.
Yeah.
They brought interval detection
that's
into the
awesome.
experience. So it's really cool, especially if you're on that like long day out and you're throwing your intervals into the middle of that ride, or you're on that group ride or race and you want to see where those hard efforts are.
Yeah.
It'll just auto detect them for you, so you can do further analysis.
We kind of go down to like tempo zone 3 and up.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really great to kind of see. I mean, I found myself, I was hitting the lap button, and now I came back and I basically doubled up my laps because it found the very same intervals. So I was like, it kind of made me not, okay, I don't have to hit the lap button now, and it'll find the intervals. So it's a lot easier for me, the athlete,
right,
but also me, the coach. It's like, well, thank you very much for like finding the hard efforts, that I used to have to go in and manually do myself.
Right.
So that's awesome. Coming shortly after that, climb detection.
So very similarly, looking at that change in elevation over time and auto detecting where we believe those climbs to be. And that would be for both cycling as well as running.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. I've already seen previews of that, so that's pretty awesome stuff to see. And then also on interval detection, that's coming for running. So right now, it's pure power based for cycling, but it's coming for running around normalized graded pace.
Right. Correct. And so like normalized graded pace really takes into account your pace with changing elevation over time, right? So when you're running up a very steep hill and your pace slows down, when you normalize that and effectively like treat the ground as
if it were flat,
it'll give you a much faster pace. And so that is really helped to inform how we are detecting what those intervals might be there.
Yeah. All right. Well, more great stuff here to chat about. WKO. A lot of the teams are leveraging WKO for advanced, metrics, if you will, and analysis. They've always wanted that more accessible within the web. So now we've definitely undertaken that. So we have new metrics.
Within Analyze 360, being that new kind of frontier of analytics within the web platform, we actually have 3 tabs within there. So the first one we just talked about, which is kind of like your workout review of understanding that detailed analysis. The second tab within there is your power chart. And so you'll have your power duration curve that is modeled over time, which will include metrics such as your modeled FTP, your time to exhaustion, your functional reserve capacity, those things that we've always taken from WKO. And then lastly, we have a lap comparison chart, which will really give you like that breakdown and understand that variation in those intervals that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah. I mean, the FRC may be functional reserve capacity, maybe a new metric a lot of people haven't heard of. It's effectively the amount of energy you have above threshold.
Right.
And it's measured in kilojoules.
Right.
So Matthew van der Poel has 28 or so, 30 kilojoules above threshold, and I have like 9, so very different, but it's very important for certain types of racing.
Right.
Ironman, not really important at all. For cyclocross and gravel, it can be really important, mountain biking.
Yep.
So that's a really key metric that to start kind of looking at and see where you are as an athlete. But after that, we'll be bringing in what's called DFRC, or dynamic functional reserve capacity. So explain that a little bit.
That to me is kind of like one of those revolutionary metrics that exist in training. And what that does is show that functional reserve capacity and how it depletes over time when you're riding above
your battery
the threshold and that power duration curve. Right, your battery.
Within the ride itself.
Yes. And then how it regenerates over time when you're riding below that power duration curve. And what'll be really cool is you can then train that. Right. And really kind of look to push the limits of what you're capable of doing and grow that over time. So you can be like Matthew Van.
I just had a flashback to Steamboat Gravel last year.
Yeah.
And I looked at my DFRC within the race, and you could just look at it, go to 0. And if you showed it to anybody else and be like, where did I get dropped? They'd just like, right there, you hit 0. Like, yep, that's where I got dropped. And then I got in a group and recharged my battery and finished strong. And so you saw DFRC come back up. So look for that to come as well. And then what else is there in the comparison?
Yeah. So in that lap comparison, so take that workout. A lot of times you're doing intervals, right? So let's say you're doing 30-30s or a 2x20. And what you can do is select those like intervals. One of them will be used as the baseline. And then you'll compare other laps to that baseline. So you can see how much more power or less power did you do on subsequent intervals. And it gives you a good idea of like the consistency in terms of that effort that you progress through that workout in that session.
Yeah. So we have more stuff coming out as well. We think about lap comparison between athletes as well.
So that is where we're actually looking to enhance our overall dashboard.
Yeah.
So now we've been talking a lot about being within the workout.
Yeah.
Then when you're thinking about the athlete itself, we have the dashboard where today we have things like your PMC, your time and zone over time and things like that. And so one of the things we're introducing there is a dashboard that is built around workout comparisons. So as a coach, you can compare different athletes on the same workout or the same day, or you can look at that same athlete on different days and compare how their workouts have progressed or changed over time.
Yeah. And I know like the teams are looking at like final climbs or pacing so they can overlay and see how different athletes paced certain climbs.
Yeah.
Or within workouts itself, doing their threshold efforts, how well did they compare, between athletes, for example.
Yep.
So it's kind of a cool learning experience when you have a stable of athletes that are doing the same events. You can kind of, and if they're, competing within the same category, it's a good kind of educational tool, if you will, to show people how to pace possibly better.
Yep. And I think that you highlight a great point when it comes to TrainingPeaks and how we think about product development. It starts with those world tour teams who provide a lot of input and feedback with regard to their needs and their use cases and things that they're trying to solve for. And so needing to do that for a world tour race is in many respects very similar to, as a coach, having a squad of athletes all competing in the same event. And so to your point, you can look at those and understand how someone might have had a more successful day than another athlete and how you can actually use that to then inform and improve your training for your athletes over time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all directly applicable.
Yeah. I mean, they are leveraging WKO pretty amazing. It's amazing what they're doing in there. So it's awesome to learn and see what they're using and how we can bring it to the general population, TrainingPeaks.
Yeah. And that has really been how we've been thinking about it, is how do we bring the best of WKO5 and pull that into TrainingPeaks in just a very approachable manner.
Yeah. Some more stuff around coach focus features. I mean, like group chat.
Yes. So I think we all know this. And this is where I think the ethos of TrainingPeaks is. It's around technology that enables a strong relationship between coach and athlete. And the strongest relationship between coach and athlete exists in that communication. And so it's been a long time feature request, especially from coaches, to want to be able to have those conversations be enabled within the product itself. And so we've recently, we're running through a beta now, working with a select set of coaches to make sure that we test out the experience and it provides everything that, athletes and coaches are looking for. But that direct chat and messaging capability that people are used to within their favorite apps is now available directly within TrainingPeaks.
Yeah.
And right now, the way we're thinking about it is it will be coach initiated, such that
default
coaches can
off,
talk,
you can turn it on.
Yep. And coaches can talk to one athlete or multiple athletes.
Group chat. Yeah, that'd be awesome. You have a group of athletes training for the same event. And oftentimes, I mean, right now the communication is always based around a workout, the post-workout comments. But if you have a question to your coach of what tire should I ride next month at Unbound Gravel, that can be done here. And bringing in more like, dropping in a picture, a video, that multimedia capability coming into the group chat will be really exciting and fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. TrainingPeaks Virtual. That's a big deal. It comes with all premium subscriptions. Just go check it out if you haven't already. But every week, TrainingPeaks Virtual changes, starting with the graphics.
Yeah, we've made so many improvements within that platform in the last year. George and the team have just done an incredible job. And one of the areas that we have really been focusing is around just the polish of that end user experience, right? Like we have arguably the best physics that
Yeah.
exist in indoor and virtual cycling in the world, but where we have really been focusing those efforts is on a solid foundation is how do we just continue to make that just a more immersive and compelling experience.
Yeah.
So we have been really enhancing the island experience. We have a new town at one of the peaks of Ice Mountain called Peaksville.
Peaksville.
We have balloons that exist within the countryside, a tech center, a blimp that is circular. Gondolas, right? Like, so we really try to make that a more fun experience. And with that intention of where you are on the island, you know where it is based on what's around you.
Yeah.
And so that has been one big area. But personally, the thing I'm super excited about is we launched a feature late last year called GPXplore.
Yeah.
And GPXplore allows you to bring any course into TrainingPeaks Virtual and ride it. So from a race recon standpoint, from a training standpoint, it really allows you to ride anywhere.
Yeah.
And especially for, so many of our coaches and athletes working on those events that are globally, it's so great to be able to recon those rides before you head there.
Yeah.
And so like the big advancement that we have coming out this month, which I've been riding for the past few weeks and have just been blown away by, is dynamically generating the terrain and the environment around you
To match where you're riding in the world.
right.
Yep.
And so as of late I've been doing these group workouts up Left-Hand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so awesome to see
Nice.
like the canyon walls and that whole all the visual cues. And what it does for me personally is it takes you from riding the trainer and doing it virtually to visualizing being in that place in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has just been such a game changer for how I approach indoor training.
I know I spoke to an athlete last week and he was on TrainingPeaks Virtual, and in the chat, someone was like, "Oh, I'm riding the Unbound section, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Wait, how are you riding Unbound in TrainingPeaks Virtual?" Like he didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And then he was told within the chat, and he was like kind of blown away. Like, I didn't know you could do this. So yeah. And for me, my happy place is riding in Mallorca. So I like my vacation spot. I go grab like my ride I love doing over there and like pull it in and kind of get in a mental state on an island, which is really, really fun.
Yeah. It's pretty wild how it does take you right back to that place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. And I always tell people at TrainingPeaks Virtual that, we started with the physics and the math, not the graphics. But literally every week it's getting better and better, the graphics, et cetera, and the team kits and the bikes. And so change up your Adam mullet and some dark glasses if you want, Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we've really just have been getting started. We have a number of graphical improvements that'll be coming through the rest of this year.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Exciting stuff.
Another big offering we have within TrainingPeaks is strength.
Yes.
So that came out more than a year ago, but more improvements coming to it as well.
Yeah. So, going back to where we started and building that complete platform, we thought about planning. So all the things we talked about at the beginning, training and lifting.
Mm-hmm.
And strength training has become just more and more popular.
All the teams are using TrainingPeaks Strength for managing their mobility and strength.
All the elite athletes, all the age groupers, right? Like I think everyone both appreciates the additional power it can give you in your core sport, the durability it can provide, as well as the longevity, right? Like a lot of us are just interested in doing this for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And strength is such a big part of that.
Yeah. I mean, it is so much more important now. I mean, even with durability, like studies have shown that strength is helping with durability, longevity. So that holistic view, bringing in your strength coach that can work with your primary coach as a team to help the athlete is really, really awesome to see.
Yep.
Well, that's a whole lot of stuff for people to go check out. A laundry list there and more to come. So looking forward to seeing more releases. And thanks for joining me today, Lee.
Thank you for having me, Dirk.
Thanks for listening to Endurance Unlimited. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on your platform of choice to never miss new episodes. Also, be sure to leave a 5-star rating to let your coach and the algorithm know you're ready to dial in your training. Find more resources to help you take on your next challenge at trainingpeaks.com or find us on social media at TrainingPeaks. Got questions? Leave a comment or send an email to podcast@trainingpeaks.com. Good luck in whatever you're training for, and trust the process to reach your potential.